Hello, how are you? Welcome to a short video I'm deciding to put out on the Persona dancing games. I didn't really think a full review would be well suited to these three, especially 3 and 5, honestly, because they're hardly substantial enough to put a full big review out on. And I do say that, but I really do enjoy all of these games. To varying extents, but all of them have their strengths, I'll say that. Sure, 3 and 5 are pretty flawed, especially 5, but they are enjoyable, and that's what I think is most important with video games. Across all three, the gameplay is really satisfying, and going for King Crazies on All Night difficulty is the worst, but the best at the same time. It's just like the process of mastering those songs is very satisfying. There's not really anything quite like it, although I've never played any other rhythm games. So what I should say is, there's nothing like it in any games I've played before. I'm gonna go through these games in chronological order. That wasn't my initial plan, but why not, right? That would make the most sense. Persona 4 Dancing is the most substantial one. It's got a story mode, it's got a shop, and it's also got the free dance mode that would become the main mode of the other games. I really like how the story of Persona 4 Dancing is pretty much a direct sequel, but it's not that interesting. It might just be me because I did play 4 Dancing before Golden, because that was the only one available to me at the time. But I just don't think it's interesting at all. Like, I don't care about the idols you're supposed to be rescuing because they have very little screen time, and they're just kind of annoying, to be honest. Even Kanami, who was introduced for this game, isn't really that good. She's not a bad character, really, but I mean, I'd say she's a nothing character. I mean, the stuff she has with Nanako's cute, but that's because Nanako. Well, my opinions on the story aren't exactly positive. I do have to say that the rest of the game is really fun, actually. The gameplay's pretty simple. It's hit the notes on time. The only difference between the notes is there's singles, there's ones that you have to hit at the same time on multiple buttons, and finally there's the hold notes. Well, there's also scratch notes, but those are optional unless you're going for a King Crazy. Scratch notes are basically you just have to swipe the stick, and it'll go. You got it. Good job. The remixes in 4 Dancing are pretty hit and miss, honestly. I think the soundtrack is heavily carried by the use of the Reincarnation album, but the good remixes in this game are really good. Like the Lotus Juice remix of Backside of the TV, the Reach Out to the Truth remix used for the final battle, and that's really it, honestly. Honorable mention goes to the Snowflakes remix. I used to like it more than the original version. The only complaint I have with the dancing portion of this game is with partner selection in the fever times. In future games, you're able to select multiple partners, but here you're only able to take one at a time, which means since there's more than one fever time per most of the songs, you'll be seeing the same dances over and over. Finally, we're gonna talk about the store. It's cute. That's all. I like how it's Tanaka's commodities. It's also nice how you don't have to spend real money in the store, like in most modern games. This is totally off topic, but it's just something I appreciate. All in all, Persona 4 Dancing is the most polished and complete game of all three. But I still need to talk about the other two to give you a picture. I'm gonna be straight up. I think Persona 3 dancing is better than Persona 5 dancing. That used to be reversed for me, but let me explain. I used to absolutely despise Persona 3 dancing, and looking back on that, that's so dumb. Really what it comes down to is I didn't like the Mass Destruction remix, and I let that opinion taint my view of the entire game. I was like, well, that Mass Destruction remix sucks, so the rest of the game is bad too. Ironically, after I'd played Persona 3, I'd come back to Persona 3 dancing and find that, well, the soundtrack is really good. More than half of it is on my personal playlist. It's that good. It also helps that I just like the Persona 3 soundtrack the most out of the modern Persona games. The music in Persona 5 dancing, while good because, it's the Persona 5 soundtrack, it's really lacking in the remix department, and it doesn't have anything from the spin-offs because it released beforehand. I mean, it would be awesome to have Counter-Strike, Throw Away Your Mask, and Invitation to Freedom in this game, but unfortunately it wasn't meant to be. I bet they'd even have a Zenkichi and Sophia DLC if it came out more recently. Speaking of characters, there's one very important person missing here. Can you guess who it is? Freaking Katone, man. Femc. Where is she? You take her music, but you don't let her join the party? Even Theo's here. The choreography in both 3 and 5 dancing are pretty great. In different ways, though. In 5 dancing, it's pretty much just fun. But in 3, there's a lot of symbolism and heavy emotional elements in the dance, from what I can tell. Specifically in Heartful Cry and Brand New Days. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, the first time I saw the Aigis and Makoto fever time in Brand New Days, I almost cried. One issue I do have with the 3 and 5 dancing games is the slight changes they made. For 3, it's that they changed the standard notes to blue, which makes them really hard to see in some songs because, well, Persona 3's color is blue, so everything is blue. Like, I'd get it if they at least changed the standards to red in 5, but no, they're still yellow there. They did improve one thing, though, which is scratch notes. They were kinda hard to see in 4 dancing, so I'm glad that they made them a little flashier in 3 and 5. One inclusion in these games, though, kind of puzzles me. Like, the double note. What is the point of that? Wouldn't the same thing be accomplished by just putting 2 notes next to each other? Am I dumb, or what? The final thing I want to talk about is the replacement for the store, and the story, the social link system. They're not very good in the dancing games. You have to complete the same tedious challenges over and over in both 3 and 5 to unlock ranks of these. And they're not even good. They're mediocre at best and garbage at worst. They're not really, offensive. They're just a waste of time. Really, I'm not here to rant about these, so I'm just gonna move on. 3 and 5 dancing should have just been one game. It's stupid because they tease a crossover in, the quote-unquote story of these games, but the most you'll get about that is the Velvet Room attendants seeing each other. It's just a real missed opportunity. Since I don't want to end on a low note, I did something a little special, and I'm not gonna lie, this is half the reason I wanted to make this video. I have prepared a small compilation of my favorite dances from all 3 of the games. and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.
そして輝き出すこの世界生きる意味を呼び継がれうつむく日もあるそれでも心には君の笑顔 Stay high 忘れてたよこんなに透き通ったスカイブルーきっと君がくれた True feel 輝き夢覚めるから出会える新しい明日に絶対信じてるよ Your fate いつでもずっと Stay high 気づけばほら窓越し眩しいスカイブルーきっと明日のドアは Always green 愛ってた New days 春の風に聞こえる Graduation 今日からの True days 君と出会う明日へ I live a brand new days
Recognize what runs deep inside emotions you wanna hide, but you can't pretend forever. No, I see through it. I can see your movement. Stop the booty issue. Stay real to it. Soon I'm going to a better place. Hoping what I left behind becomes a better place for y'all. If you lie to yourself and get lost in this torturous, so murderous, self-inclined Spartacus. Don't lose sight of what the purpose is. Hold me back. Don't let it come back for aspect. Realize things look clear from where I'm standing. Took a breather. Check your status. Simple mathematics out of balance. So stop thinking yourself. Hard to realize, hard to see, hard to realize, hard to see if you ain't open. What you waiting for, man? Your survival of the fittest, you ain't getting nothing. Wish for thinking of yours, gonna take you nowhere. Feed your hungry brain and be one of those rare.